Towards the end of last century, there came a group of people from Songo near Cabora Bassa in Mozambique who settled in mountains along the Zambezi Valley on the border with Mozambique and Zambia. These people, the Doma people, a semi-nomadic clan, famously known in Zimbabwe as Doma, came looking for ivory and animals. On discovering that there were plenty of animals, the Doma decided to settle. Back in Songo, these people lived in mountains, surviving on hunting, honey gathering, wild fruits and roots, and they brought with them their lifestyle. The people speak either Chikunda or Kore Tande.
The Doma people are actually a group of people which is in this community. I do not say that actually, no, it's the entire community. They are just a very small fraction of our community. Probably I would say 1 to 2% of the entire population. These people, originally they came from Mozambique in Songo area. I think it's around Cabora Bassa. They came here as part of the contingents of people who came with our ancestors. That is Chihumbe, Kanyemba and Nyanderu. These are our ancestors who came here to look for ivory. So on their way, they were collecting all sorts of people on the way. So these are the Demas who are present in this area. So when they came here, they found that in ourselves, the Chikundas, preferred to live along the Zambezi in the flat lands. So they were not happy about it. So since they were used to stay in mountains, they decided to go to the nearby mountains.
In Zimbabwe, the Doma are referred to as the two-toed people. But it's not every Doma who has such features. Different versions have been given as to why some of these people have only 2 toes, which many believe is not hereditary. Some say this special feature enabled the people to climb trees with much ease.
Well, that's just a myth which is completely untrue. Yeah, we have the 2-toed people among the Demas, but this is just coincidental. I really don't know how it comes about. You know, out of the total population of the Dema, of they were, you know, let me say 120 or 200. It's less than 3 people who have got that kind of thing.
Before independence, the Doma continued with their activities, hunting at will, without much restrictions, and gathering honey, their special food. In the mountains, they established temporal structures, while others lived in caves without fear of snakes. They claimed that previous regimes encouraged them to hunt by providing the Doma with bundles of wire which they turned into snares.
Vaipirwa waya na Smith wachitea muka vaipirwa kuno manchi na kwa mzituko uko ku ndokaipirwa ku rest camp ndokaipirwa waya kuti no denya chiamu kaipirwa waya because kurima vama agoni kurima saka ibatsirwa waya na Smith government.
After independence, many people became interested in the Doma clan. Attempts were made to visit their areas, but since the Doma were a secluded group of people, the visits were treated with a lot of suspicion, and the Doma would run away on seeing strangers. They feared that their origins might be identified and would be sent packing. Even today, some of the elders still treat strangers with suspicion, especially those who want to know the history of Doma people. This old man pretended that he knew nothing of the Doma as a way of evading our quest to know their origins and lifestyle. Since they lived alone, the Doma married among themselves. Even today, such marriages are still being encouraged.
Vamwe vaitora mwana wa sekuru. Vamwe vachitora mwana wa mwana wa nzadzi. Mwana wa mwana wa nzadzi.
Kuparora racho rainge rakamira sei?
Pakurorana nanjaba. Ndakanza kuti vamwe varorana chuma.
But with independence, things had to change, and the Doma had to be included into government's development plans. A call was made by the government encouraging these people to come down from the mountains and join other communities. But this call was also treated with suspicion, making it difficult for government to convince the people that it was a genuine call. To lure these people, government officials left food handouts in the mountains together with clothes, since the people did not have any clothes. The Doma would take these gifts without being seen and return to their homes in the mountains. This encouraged the officials and left more goods.
At the start of the whole exercise to lure them to come to the lower grounds, it was a bit of a problem because most of them had been used to staying up there in the highlands. But eventually, with the more and more persuasion by ourselves here and the government.
Was it only a persuasion through word of the mouth only?
It was persuasion through word of mouth. It was persuasion through gifts given to them. The services which are provided to the other communities on the lower grounds. Were more attractive to them. So they decided that they found out that they were on the losing end if they continued staying there.
Just after independence, I remember the late Salim Mugabe visited that area with a team of Women's League in 1981, I think, where they gave a lot of assistance in terms of clothing, in terms of pots and other basic necessities, so that the Doma people could integrate with the community.
While all this was going on, the government had realized that there was a lot of potential in wildlife. Restrictions on hunting were introduced by the Department of National Parks and Wildlife Management. Safari operators started entering the area with professional hunters. Anti-poaching units were also introduced. All these crippled the clan's hunting activities.
It's always a big problem to change a person from his usual practice to a new practice. So the Domas, as you say, are traditional hunters, and the traditional, nomads moving from one place hunting. Yeah, that was the lifestyle they are used to. So trying to change them suddenly from that kind of lifestyle to the new lifestyle where they will not eat roots, where they will not hunt, it became very difficult for them at first. There are instances, of course, where they meet with the hunters in the bush, and normally when the hunters come across them in the bush, they will have to arrest them. They arrest them, and normally they bring them to me here, to get some kind of explanation as to why these people are found in places where they are not supposed to be found, according to the hunters.
Nyaya uchi kuno kwedu chine next to the parks iripo nditi saka parks nyama ndikafamba pa ndikafika mumakomo pali zvinamba apana mwana bvuma kusvika asati zvakubira kusvika mumakomo uyo mukaoneka mwene parks mutosungwa straight, mukaoneka muchijira uchi mapocha kubva kuZambia asi kuja uku ndikwangori kwani kwedu isusu kwete vadimi wacho ndini sabhuku wacho nakutepa tingaoneka chimora uchuku nditosungwa straight, asi ndechikamu chikafu nemanyanya yaenzi mamanyanya asi peni pechikunu chimbama bata muzive chizvi chakakura fanana gumbo rangu apa unzi mbama, asi mukajami neuchi wacho munoguta 2 days munawo. Saka ndo abereki vadu wenu vaipo neuhu manje.
But now that most of the Doma people have moved from the mountains, are they benefiting from the government's call to join other communities?
They are a forgotten people, neglected, and government at present is doing very little, if nothing at all, to assist in the development, both social, economic development of the Doma people.
When the government, decided to call the people to the lower grounds, the main idea behind the government, of course, was that they should get the equal services as others are getting here, and then probably try to mingle them with the other, so that they lose that inferiority complex which they used to have, because they used to be a sort of a group of people which used to be very shy. Yeah, and when they met with the other sectors of the community, they would become very, very shy. They wouldn't like to talk. They wouldn't like to to do all the other things. So the government wanted to try and mix them up with the people so that they lose that inferiority complex. Yeah, but I don't know whether I would say that that was enough that the government should have done. I think the government should have done much more than merely calling them to the lower grounds, by probably monitoring to see that is there really progress in their what could I say? Is there really sort of advancement in their sort of lifestyle? Yes, but it looks to me that the government was merely satisfied that those people came, and then they are getting similar services to the others, and probably that's enough. But I think the government should have come more, try and see, look deeply into the way they are existing, and probably help them more.
Some have tried farming, but whatever they try to grow is destroyed by wild animals, forcing these people to go back hunting and collecting honey.
They do return to the mountains occasionally, once in a while, especially when things become very difficult for them on the lower grounds. They will always return, of course, to look for those things like honey, do a bit of digging of the roots and so forth, sometimes even to do a bit of hunting.
I have on a number of occasions tried to invite the director of the Social Dimension Fund in the Ministry of Social Welfare and Social Welfare to visit Kanyamba and really see the plight of the Doma people, and also have persuaded the Ministry of Agriculture to come and assist the Doma people in uplifting their livelihood, but we are not getting any hearing at all.
Most of their children don't attend school because they don't have decent clothes. Those who manage to attend school have to cope with Mwanza-Mtamba River, which gets flooded every rain season.
In the same vein, we would want to invite NGOs, if they could come and assist the Doma people in agriculture, in putting up decent housing, in assisting their children in clothing so that they can decently go and attend school lessons.
Education is one thing that is most important to any human being. Yes. We have got one primary school here which is catering for everybody. Now, the other sector of the community is slightly well-to-do than the Doma people. And, they are able to afford things like uniforms. They are able to afford things like school fees and many other things which could be needed for a school-going child. The other sector, the Doma people, they are unable to afford these things. So it is very difficult for them to send their children to a school where other children are well dressed in uniforms while themselves they are half naked.
A community in Masoka area, which has some Doma people, offers incentives in the form of money to any Doma family which sends children to school. On the other hand, the Gurube Rural District Council is also trying to include the Doma clan within its development plans.
Kune video katakasa in place inema committee members kuziti kwanise ku coordinator ne bamwe bawo saka tineta msangano navo wane chidoma bye through their video and the committee that has been put aside in place. Saka ivo vanenge vanonzwa zvichemo zvavo after agara musangano nevanhu zvokuti vanenge vachida kubatsirwa nei. I think the government structures, the project should start from vertical level, so we have to follow that way. But at least we've managed to put one ball for them. But the most important thing that we are looking forward to do is to come up with a land use plan so that we can resettle them in a proper manner. Zvichemo zvanyanya kuuya nazvo izvichemo zvakafanana nenzara one nekupfeka two vanenge vachida kurima zvikuru nyaya yekotondi funga makatomboona nezvo patakaendako asi vanozokundikana mumari dzekubhadhara matractor saka zvichemo izvozvo vanogara vanazvo.
Saka munozviadresa sei zvichemo izvi?
Right, zvichemo izvi tinozviadresa chete ndezvokuti pari zvino hurumende isati yatanga kupa vanhu chibage chechikwereti, chibage chainyesa kuuyawo kakati wandei, asi nekuti hurumende akazopa chibage chikwereti vanhu saka vazhinjiwo zvakare havachokwanisa kuti vadzorere chikwereti ichocho. Saka zvatiri kungoita ndezvokuti patinongoitawo kuti kukanyemba kune nzara kana chibage chauya either chichikwereti kana chisi chikwereti toona kuti vanongopiwa zvavo, but taifunga kuti maybe hurumende ndiye yaifanira kutarisa zvikuru vanhu ivavaya kuti kunyange ikavapa chikwereti kuchidzora chacho havambochidzora.
In an attempt to assist the people, I have invited the director of World Vision, Reverend Chigwida, to pay that area a visit and see for himself the need amongst the Doma community. But we are still waiting for him to respond to the invitation.
It's now 18 years since these people moved from the mountains, and nothing seems to be changing for them. Will the Doma people ever enjoy the fruits of Zimbabwe's independence, or they will forever remain social outcasts?
The hope is there as long as the standard of living of the people is uplifted. Without that, I think they remain a shy community. As you note, they live in a forested area, secluded from the rest of the community, because I think there's that tendency of laughing at them whenever we see them. I think it's the attitude of people to say that they are an ignorant, unsophisticated community.
With cases of sexual abuse involving minors on the increase, there became a need to provide better treatment and privacy to witnesses. This resulted in the creation of victim-friendly units which offers special treatment. The program, supported by the Danish government and donors, enables a victim to talk in a conducive environment, unlike in the past when a victim was questioned in the presence of criminal offenders.
When the victim comes to a station, instead of that case being reported over the counter like any other theft case or so, we take the victim into an office which is relatively quiet, and we have got some toys in the offices, we have got some doll houses in the offices, so that the witness child will be as free as possible to give us enough information to secure a conviction.
To update officers on the new method, the Zimbabwe Republic Police has organized a week-long victim-friendly unit seminar in Harare. Opening the seminar, Police Deputy Commissioner Godwin Matanga said victim-friendly units were created after realizing that the present system does not offer privacy, professional support, and practical assistance when dealing with victims of rape and other forms of sexual abuse. The Deputy Commissioner urged people to unite in deploring the ever-increasing cases of rape, especially those involving defenseless children.